Is he still not?
He's not here. Give it up. He's gone.
Hello.
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 Notice he didn't say hello there?
I know who didn't say hello.
Max Simpson.
Yeah, Max is, once again, Holiday Max is not here today, but, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We'll hold down the fort.
Yeah. Again.
Never done this before, have we, Rees?
No.
Welcome into the PHNX Rising Podcast. It's Wednesday. It's October.
Yay!
You know what that means, Rees? What does October mean?
The regular season ends this month.
It does!
Thankfully.
It does! Yeah, we've got 4 more games to go. 4 more regular season matches for Phoenix Rising in the 2025 season. Rees, how are we feeling?
Well, I don't know how to feel. Again, I feel like we didn't need to have this show today. I feel like we could have just copy and pasted last week's show into today's show link, and we would be talking about pretty much the same thing.
We could have just done that, to be fair. He's giving us some good ideas here.
Exactly. I mean, we could probably do it next week when they drop.
Kevin behind the Mac as well, by the way, and in the chat, Kevo. Hello.
Always in the chat. Always in the Rising chat. And always producing a Rising pod without Max Simpson.
That's very true. But
you can say that for most producers.
Could we have just posted last week's pod in this place, or no?
I somehow think that Leah and Espo would have frowned upon that, but I would have smiled upon it.
I think it's a reasonable... I mean, it's kind of like sometimes when I just go like, can I just copy paste my write-up?
I mean, again, I feel like not that many people would notice because it's the same thing week in.
It's kind of true.
Week out, especially these last 3 games.
It is kind of true. We welcome him because, we do have stuff to talk about. There was a Phoenix Rising game this past weekend.
They didn't lose.
No, because as the thumbnail might have given away, 5 draws so far in a row.
Yeah. I mean, you could say
6 and 7 as well. There we go.
You could say they're 7 unbeaten or 5 winless. Which do you prefer?
I prefer them to actually get this stuff together.
Yeah.
Maybe not leave us in this position every week. But hey, who knows? We'll see, won't we? We'll see. Rob, we've got a lot to talk about today.
We do.
And we're going to start with none other than the last game. Now, my thoughts obviously kind of spewed into words online, if you wanted to see them, over at gophnx.com, of course. We put up an article after every game. But in this case, my question, and Rees, because we haven't heard your or read your thoughts, Rees. Let's go. Rees's thoughts.
I don't like that, but I do at the same time.
Let's get some pieces from Rees.
I hate that.
If I turn that one around, Max would kill us. Even if he's not here. That's day one of not cutting my hair until Phoenix Rising gets 5 draws in a row. Thank you. I
mean, I think I'm not going to cut my hair until Rising wins again. So who knows when that could be? But when
he comes in, when Rising does draws the next 4 games and then loses first round in the playoffs, Rees is coming in with hair down
it's gonna be awesome.
Waist in,
it's gonna be awesome.
March. This man, Go on.
Well, I mean, it's another game where, as we kind of hinted at, we could copy and paste the show link from last week. Why? Because they had a slow start in the first half and came crawling back in the second half. This time, they started off so slowly that they went down 3-0. And then came back and drew 3-3 with a stoppage time penalty. It's worrying, but it's also what this team is at this point in the season. There's 4 games left. We can't keep talking about what the potential of this team is because, quite frankly, the potential hasn't shown through. And this late in the season, again, what we're seeing is what we're seeing. This team refuses to have a good first half, it seems like. And I'll give them credit when they go down, they're never out of a game. They fight and fight and fight, which in the playoffs could do them well. But it's so frustrating to see, 3 goals. When you're 3-0 down at home, that is quite frankly embarrassing.
Against a team that were in 10th.
Against a team that were in 10th.
I think that's the key thing here, right?
Yeah.
We need to also draw a bit of a distinction in that, like, look, this Rising team, we're not going to stand up and say, oh, they're incredible,
No.
right? And that's not necessarily their fault. But there's also a difference between going 3-0 down to a real contender, say a Charleston, say a Louisville, right? And then going 3-0 down to an Oakland this year. There's a big difference there. And I feel as though, I mean, at the same time, it's weird because you look at the way, and you look at the way that these games have gone, these last few games when Rising ultimately have been coming away with draws. We can sit here and say, do they deserve to come away with draws? Maybe or maybe not. The numbers, a lot of the underlying numbers say they do, but that's just because in the second half, the other team just kind of sits back and lets them attack and attack and attack and attack and attack. Rising actually attempted their most shots of any game in the league this year. In that game against Oakland, 19. 8 were on target.
I feel like I'm old enough to remember when Rising had 22 shots again or on target against Vegas.
Rare,
I know it was. I know that was years ago, but still, can remember.
Oakland have actually lost more points from winning positions, by the way, than any team other than Birmingham Legion and Indy 11 this year. Did you know?
And all 3 of those teams are likely to miss the playoffs.
There you go. Kind of tells you something, doesn't it? As for Oakland Roots right now, look, it was one of those games where I think, after Danny Trejo scores the fastest goal in the league this season, 41 seconds into the game. Danny Trejo, by the way, you recognize the guy? He seemed a good player, that Danny Trejo.
Las Vegas Lights?
No, I hear he was on the 23 Phoenix
Oh,
Rising
yeah,
Championship
that
Series.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, that Danny Trejo. Not the actor.
No.
Turns out, good player.
Very good
scores
player.
pretty early. Gets an assist as well on Peter Wilson's second goal. You're a big Peter Wilson guy now, aren't you?
He's banging in goals at the moment, so I feel like I can't hate too much.
Would you bring him here to Phoenix Rising?
Absolutely not. Never in a million years. I know he's banging in goals, but the second half he had a one-on-one with Patrick Krakowski, and it felt like the real Peter Wilson came out in that moment because he just absolutely wasted it. And had he scored, they probably go on to win that game because I think it was either 4-1 or 4-2 by that point. It was 3-1 or 3-2. So 3-1. It would have made it 4-1. And 4-1, different ball game. That's
correct. Some other things to note there, obviously. Look, Rising start with Charlie Dennis, Darius Johnson, Isan Sacco, Hope Ava playing just behind them. As front line. What do we think about this front line? I mean, obviously Charlie Dennis getting the start. He does actually reward Pa-Modou for putting the faith in him with a brace in the Player of the Week performance in this game. But overall, just as a forward line, how do we feel about that?
I think in Charlie Dennis's case, I thought he was one of the very few, if only, bright spots in that first half. Obviously, he scored the goal, which makes it easy to say that. But even before that, I thought he was really, really good, which is kind of what we've seen from him in spurts and over time. Of course, of long games, but really hasn't extended to multiple game form. The rest of the front 3, I wasn't impressed with. It felt like it just didn't click and was a part into why the first half looked as slow as it did going forward.
I'm going to say, I think we've already said this. We may have already said it on the pod. We may not have with Darius Johnson.
Yeah.
I feel as though he's a guy who he's more dangerous maybe in late game situations, I think, than he is when he starts typically. Mm-hmm. Obviously not a perfect indicator either way, but I just feel as though broadly that's the trend to me. And then Isan Sacco just blows so hot and cold sometimes. Yeah. I think you see the talent that he has in some of these games and in some of these halves even sometimes. Like, take Oakland away. I thought the first half was mediocre, but you kind of see that moment of quality from him with the goal away against the Oakland Roots. And you see it in some of his chance creation as well on times. But it's just so hot and cold on times, it feels. And it's frustrating, I think, as you're watching it from a Rising perspective.
I completely agree with that, and I think where Sacco fits best is as that right winger where Charlie Dennis played in this game. As
Charlie
a 9,
Dennis has made himself undroppable now.
Exactly, and as a 9, we even saw in this game right before Charlie Dennis's goal, literally right before, Sacco has a chance at goal and he just misses the ball.
Whiffs the ball entirely.
Open
Not the only
net.
chance he missed.
Yeah, he had it, and that's kind of the theme, not just with him, but with the striker room in general. Is I feel rather, if they had more quality, this team wouldn't be falling behind as often as it is, and wouldn't be having as many slow starts just because they'd be more clinical. Unfortunately, that's not how it is, and we, have been following the same script for a month now.
We have. It's not the most reassuring, is it? Any other thoughts just on the lineup as a whole? I mean, I'll take this one. Cian Emmers, I think, had one of his better games.
Yeah.
Coming off of the bench.
I agree with that, and especially coming on when he did after Noble Kello was taken off in the 33rd, 34th minute. Kello didn't have his best game at all, and Emmers came on, and I don't know if I had seen his performance in a vacuum, would I be saying it is his best game in a Rising Star? I don't know, but compared to that Kello performance, he definitely stood out as a positive for Rising.
Yeah, absolutely. Then just any other thoughts right now? I think we'll kind of leave it there. We want to draw a line under this game, but we'll have more to talk because obviously there were the big comments made after the game. We'll be getting into that in the next segment. Any more to add on this one, Rees?
It was another draw.
It was a draw.
5 without a win.
It was a draw.
7
it was 5
unbeaten.
without a win.
What do you look at? Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much kind of what it was. To be fair, is another draw. When we come back, we will have some of those comments from Pa-Modou, which were quite strong comments, I think, that he made there. We'll have a listen to what he said after the game and what he said today. But first, we're going to talk to you now. Phoenix Rising might not be able to win.
No.
But you can win.
Yes.
You head on down to Gila River Resorts and Casinos because no one does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They've got 4 locations here in the valley. Wild Horse Pass, probably quite familiar with that one if you're a Rising fan. Lone Butte, Vicuiva, Santan Mountain. I mean, I bet you Max is there right now. Don't you think so?
Probably.
Max isn't in the studio.
Max would be somewhere with the partners.
Absolutely. And the one thing we know about Max is that Max won't win, much like Phoenix Rising.
That is true.
If you go down there, they've got over 4,500 slots on live table games. You can also catch all of the action at any of their sports books, as well as plenty of other things there. Dining options, so many different choices, whatever kind of level you're looking for there. Remember, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You can get more information heading over to playatgila.com for more details. Now, for more than 15 years, Access Insurance Agency of Arizona, they provided affordable and reliable car insurance to drivers in the Phoenix metro area. They're a dedicated part of the local community. Access also help Arizona drivers get insured by offering flexible coverage options and accepting various forms of ID, driving histories, and license types. By partnering with over 20 insurance carriers, they make it easy for you to compare rates and find the best policy for your budget. They have bilingual Spanish-speaking agents as well at 9 convenient locations across the valley. Access agents are ready to assist customers in finding the right coverage for their budgets and identifying available discounts. Both cash and card payments are accepted for added convenience. Access Auto, they are trusted by the community, rooted in Phoenix, and ready to help. All statements are subject to the terms, exclusions, and conditions of the applicable policy. In all instances, the current policy contract language prevails. Coverage is subject to individual policyholders meeting underwriting qualifications and state availability. Other terms, conditions, and exclusions may apply. Right. Rees. We got to talk about those comments from Pa-Modou, don't we?
We do.
Because when you come out with some of these comments that he has, kind of takes the headline there. So let's listen, first of all, to just the comments that Pa made after the game.
Very, 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 very poor first half. I was missing hunger and desire. Some players are full. And they don't understand what is it and what is required to play for such a club like Phoenix Rising. And for me, it's a shame. It's really a shame. Luckless, challenged them at halftime, and they reacted. but that should not be the norm. When you play this game of football, it starts with respecting the game, understanding that you are part of a game. You've been given an opportunity to do something with your talent, and some of them right now are wasting their talent.
Quite strong words there from
Yeah.
Pa-Modou Car.
Yeah. And
Wasting their talent.
to me, I obviously doesn't say a player's name, but you know, the 34th minute substitution of Noble Okello and then those comments kind of feel like he's talking about Noble there. Who
I will say he was quite passionate, let's say,
Yeah.
in his address actually of Noble Okello at training today. At one point, I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's Pa. He's intense on the training ground anyway. That's nothing particularly new here. But yeah, I mean, it's something, isn't it? I mean, there was another comment here. I'll just read this one, which he said, we don't have the video immediately to hand on this one. As soon as the whistle goes, either you're ready or you're not. Many of them are not ready. Some of them are not ready. They don't know what it is to be a professional football player. They pretend to be football players, but they're not. That was also from Pa-Modou Car after the game. These are strong comments. I mean, yes, Noble Okello, I don't think he's the only guy being called out.
I agree. But I mean, I just think it's
I would be
easiest to
surprised
signal
if
him.
he isn't
Yeah.
one of.
Yeah.
I will point out again, some players were explicitly listed as this not applying to, like Pap, like JP, Daniel Flores, Charlie Dennis, Sian Emmers, Asala Senge, as showing kind of the hunger there. And he also had some positive things to say about kind of Rémi Cabral never shying away from the big moment to, you know, step up when he's needed. But yeah, those are pretty strong comments, aren't they?
Yeah. And I mean, it either lights a fire under you or the rest of the season for those players could be very interesting because I mean, that's again, it's so strong. I'm just fascinated to see what the result of this is because I feel like, I mean, we'll signal out Noble Okello again. We've been talking about what he could be. I mean, he's 6'5", whatever, just huge guy, and we feel that he never really uses that to his advantage. Never really uses his physicality to his advantage. So much so that you look at the 34 minutes he's on the pitch. He entered one duel, which was an aerial duel, nothing on the ground. He lost the aerial duel at 6'5", and just to me, like, again, it is easy to pick on a guy who got subbed off in the 34th minute when comments like that are. Like, Carl Saint also got subbed off at halftime for Pa-Modou. And then Pa-Modou, I thought he delivered one of his best performances this season. It hasn't been the easiest season for him by any means. Injuries, couple of red cards, which were fascinating decisions on his part. But I thought that was one of his best games. Obviously Oakland didn't want to attack too much when he was on the pitch, but when they did, there was a lot of just good recovery defending, in transition, which really, really impressed me and obviously impressed Pa.
Yeah, I think though, look, when we think about these comments as a whole, you kind of touched on it. I think there's an important thing to say here that this felt like, it feels like in some ways, it's either a gamble because you're risking the fact that some of these guys may check out a little bit more.
Yeah.
You never know what kind of reaction you're going to get, especially when you're criticizing effectively pretty much the professionalism of some of these guys, right? You can't then assume they're going to react in a quote, professional manner. And to do it so publicly, right? These are things that you give the guys the hairdryer treatment in the locker room. It's one thing, right?
Yeah.
to do it very publicly is a choice. And it might turn out to be an master. I don't know. I don't think any of us will really know until we see a bit more of it. You can't even tell necessarily from training because the guys always have that degree of looking good in training. We are going to hear a bit more on that one in a bit, by the way. The comments again on kind of the reaction so far and just some expansion on that from Pa today at training. But, it's one of those ones whereby I don't think you ever really know what you're going to get as the response. I will also say this. Look, you can talk about hunger and desire and all of that. That's fine. It is also, at the end of the day, it's the coach's job to get the best out of the players. And we do also have to remember that these are players, by and large, that the coach wanted. That element of things can't be divorced from how we're going to talk about this. We can't talk about Noble Acalo as though he's a guy who just happened to be here.
Yeah.
Right? We can't talk about any of the other guys, really. I mean, it's worth noting, I think, that a lot of the players that were mentioned as guys who kind of showed up, quite a few of them were inherited players this season. Look, Rising has limited choices. I won't argue that in terms of they've got quite a few players who are out for longer stretches. Let's not forget the fact that Motriori is injured on the back line. Let's not forget the fact that Damian Rivera is out. Other players also missing time, of course, due to injury. But those two really season enders. So really why I brought those ones up. Look, it's a tough one. I mean, this coming weekend is not the weekend, by the way, to have any questions about whether you're in it or not.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be ready to go from the second the whistle blows on Saturday because, I mean, Pa mentioned, he doesn't want to play football anymore, but he would love to play another derby game after the game on Saturday. And that's what this coming Saturday is. It's a derby game where if you're not ready to go, the start against Oakland would look 10 times uglier in a derby game because it will never be forgotten, really,
100%. I mean, I just feel as though when you look at it and think, what would happen if this team went 3-0 down at home against New Mexico United?
I would probably recommend that a lot of people delete Twitter for a good period of time.
I don't know. I feel like we'd be logging immediately onto Twitter just to see what people were saying.
That is true.
But it would probably be quite reflective of what we'd be hearing as well in the stadium, which I wouldn't be shocked if you heard a lot of boos at that point.
Yeah.
Look, we've obviously spoken, I think, from our perspective on those initial comments. We do have more comments today. Kind of a follow-up on this from Pa-Modou at training today. Let's have a listen.
Obviously, I've seen a great reaction. I always see a great reaction from them, but also I stand with what I say because I think that is also truth. Sometimes truth is the truth, and there's no hiding in the truth because we were very poor. And when you look at it, you go, on the other hand, also partly made of the comments is you have people standing in the rain, not going home. That says a lot also about our fans that stood behind, waiting for it to get the wind to clear and support you, and that's how you come out. That also is not showing you that to the fans, right? So for me, I know I was a little bit, I forget to mention it, which I was wanted to mention, is also that, let's think about those things. There were people standing here, Ryan, you were trying to get the wind to stop, but fans were here, right? They refused to go home because that's how much also they care about this club. So it's also our duty to make sure that we do the right things for them as well. That's just it is. That's the reality. It's not wrong. It's the truth.
You mentioned it there about how they always kind of give you a good response in training, and you talked about it last week as well with, there's always a good level of will and want in training, but it's the hunger on match days. What in your mind and in your coaching staff's mind is going to get this team to where that will, that want translates from training into game day?
Well, I think Charlie said it the best. It has to come from within, right? If your motivation is, what is your motivation? What is your discipline to start with? Forget motivation. What is your discipline? Right? I look at it, I've seen my father wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, doesn't come home until 12 o'clock. That's a discipline to feed me. So if I'm given a talent, I'm not going to throw it away because then I'm not doing my father justice. And I'm not doing justice to the people that give me the opportunity. Because we all want opportunities in life, but then we complain when we're given the opportunity. There's always something. For me, life is what you make of when you're given an opportunity, right? And when you're given an opportunity to be in a team like Phoenix Rising, which is about winning, stand up. Don't shy away from it. Why are we shying away from it? There's nothing in life that is failure. Fails, the word fails means first attempt in learning. That's what you do in life. You learn. The day you stop learning, you're in the ground. That's when you stop learning. But every day in life, you're going to face adversity. Things are not going to go your way, but you stand up. You just stand up and you fight. You fight till the last drop. That's all it is in life. Nobody has Nobody's have a book of how life is going to turn out. You don't, right? But when you face little adversity, it should never stop you. You know? But again, you look back at it and you go, okay, we're not losing. That is strong. That is a great thing. But we know we're capable of more. And when you are capable of more, that's what you have to bring out.
There we go. Quite about 3 minutes. You haven't seen that one yet.
No, I have not.
This is your first time listening through to it. Obviously, my second there.
Yeah.
But Rees, come on.
I mean, I say I have to agree with it, and a lot of the things he said. It's, if you have this opportunity to play professional football, and not everyone gets that opportunity. Even if
Did you not get that opportunity?
I didn't, I could have been the guy starting up top for Arsenal, but my knee. I had a bad knee, bad ankle, not a bad shoulder like Max. So
Max has some pretty bad shoulders.
Really bad. Not just one, too. It's quite incredible. But you got to take the opportunity and just actually take it. Not just sign the contract. You got to actually play with it. So, and I feel that what Pa's trying to say is that a lot of these guys just haven't quite lived up to their potential, which, I mean, we've talked about kind of all season in a way, but it intrigues me on to what will happen this offseason, because I'm sure some of these guys that he's talking about are under contract for next season. And do they come back and have, a fire under them the whole offseason ready to go? Or are they just going to use this as a moment where, it kind of isolates them from Pa and is a turning point in terms of what they what their future with Rising is?
I mean, it's true, isn't it? It's a question. We'll see. We've got time to see that.
Oh,
I mean, again, there's four games to play in this regular season, followed by presumable playoffs. I think at this point, though, the way the league table is kind of stacking up, I think he's pretty confident. Are you pretty confident right now this team makes the playoffs, Rees?
Orange County have too many matches in hand at the moment. Once they get closer in games played, which is tonight, but even once they get level, I think I'd be a little bit more confident.
I think the big difference here, and I'll say this, I'm pulling right now from our boy John Morrissey, whose odds do actually put Orange County just slightly ahead of Phoenix Rising. Only slightly, though. It's 0.1 of a point, by the way, is the difference in expected points here. Colorado Springs Switchbacks would miss out in this scenario. This one actually coming in before El Paso's win today, which I'm sure has boosted them quite substantially and given Oakland a bit of a knock as well. In terms of their chances. But genuinely, I think this team far more likely than not right now. I think will make, just because I think that there's an element of you'd need the teams around them to be picking up points, and they're just not. As much as Rising is kind of hobbling over the line, so is so much of the Western Conference right now. So are so many of those teams at the bottom of the table. And it kind of makes you think that, well, Rising, it's not amazing. It's not like they're coming away with wins. It's not like they're really,
wins.
What's a win? But they're slowly, steadily picking up points. That's just kind of helping them. These draws, we can joke, we can laugh, we can make all the jokes we want in the world about the draws. Oh, it's 5 draws in a row. Oh, it's awful. But those points are really, I think, making a difference right now. I mean, look, it's so tight. It's so tight right now in the Western Conference that those points are just so meaningful. I mean, if we took away the point, these last 3 games, right, where Rising have come back from 2 goals down at the break, Rising would be below the playoff line. They would be below the playoff line.
Yeah, that's something.
If you took away those 3 points, they'd be on 30 points. Colorado Springs would be in 7th. Orange County would, because by virtue of the head-to-head, because of course Rising lost quite heavily in their second fixture against Orange County this season. Orange County have the tiebreaker over them, so Rising would actually be in 9th if it wasn't for these last 3 games being draws. And Jeff trailed in all 3 of them.
Yeah, by multiple goals.
The key thing here is just not starting so slowly.
Exactly.
That's the big thing, right? And
I mean, if you take out the first half of all those 3 games, that's 3 wins. Unfortunately, matches are 90 minutes long.
They're not played over 45 minutes, especially the second 45 minutes. You are correct.
Yeah.
Because if you took away the second halves,
Yeah, you got 3
Rising
losses.
would be below the playoff line.
Yeah.
Pretty miserable on that front. But hey, look, I think they made the playoffs this year. I think it's going to be as like a 6, 7, or 8, plausibly 7 or 8. But you do have games against teams above you, so you have a chance to kind of influence that slightly. I don't know. Anything else to add here, Rees?
I agree, but I also think, again, the illusion of those Orange County matches in hand, which with the form they're in, realistically, they're not going to win both. They might not even win one, so they'll probably still be behind Rising. And also, Rising have 2 games against Eastern Conference games, or Eastern Conference teams, rather. And that's like a complete unknown. That's an unexplored frontier for this team. And I have no idea what's going to happen in those games because I feel like West-East games, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter. It's just whatever's going to happen.
I mean, here's the kind of critical part to that. When North Carolina currently winning, by the way, that's one of Rising's 2 games. They're beating Birmingham Legion.
Mhm.
They're only 3rd in the East, so they're playing quite well right now. And that final Pittsburgh game, if the league standings in the East stay as they are, Pittsburgh could be going into that game feeling that they need a win in order to give themselves a shot, even if it's an outside shot. But they may need a win to give themselves a real shot at a home playoff game because that number 4 seed right now in the East, only 2 points ahead of Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
And I don't know if there's a team that I'd want to have a slow start against less than Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Because if you fall down even 1-0, I can't see them score a goal.
Every team that Rising has played in these last few weeks has kind of dropped back in that second half. The difference is, you're right, I feel like a Bob Lilly team, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Bob Lilly team, will sit back effectively in a way that these other teams have somewhat crumbled.
They've conceded 24 goals this season. That's the second least in the entire league.
24 goals.
24 goals.
That is very nearly, if Rising had conceded 1 goal more, that would be exactly half the number of goals.
Oh, that's awesome.
That Phoenix Rising has conceded 47 goals. That is the most in the league.
That doesn't even sound real. 47 goals.
47 goals.
Sounds like a made-up number.
That is an average of 1.81 goals conceded per match.
Well, last year we had a bunch of 0-0
That also
draws.
doesn't include the Jägermeister Cup, by
don't
the
even
way,
try.
which would only make it even worse.
Last year we had so many 0-0 draws, and I remember begging for goals, and I think all the fans were too. I don't think this is what we meant at all.
I will add the Jägermeister Cup goals in. It makes it a more round number, at least. 1.9 goals conceded. 57 goals conceded over 30 games.
Who will forget those 4 goals to Texoma?
That's truly impressive. I don't know. Are there any real comparisons in
Las Vegas Lights any year? Realistically,
not wrong, but
they're not far off the pace this year. That is, quite frankly, an abysmal. Oh yeah, 2023 Vegas 66.
To put that in perspective, I'll give you this is genuine perspective now. Actually, the 1.9. If you did that over 38 games, that would be a Premier League season. That would be like conceding 72 goals over the course of a year. Only 3 teams conceded more, or at least or more than 72 goals. 70 or more in the end, actually. Those were the 3 teams that got relegated last year.
Awesome.
I thought that was a good comparison.
Yeah.
The difference is Rising scores a lot as well, to be fair, which makes them a very odd team in that sense, doesn't it?
Very. I mean, I don't know if it's more impressive that they've scored 45 goals or more depressing that they've conceded 47.
Again, the only teams that have actually scored more goals than Phoenix Rising are Louisville and Charleston.
Who are going to be in the Eastern Conference Final.
Well, they should be.
Well, yeah, on
They
paper.
should be. They are the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference.
And there's Rising.
I don't even know what to make of this team anymore. Right, when we come back on the other side of the break, we'll be talking about a big game coming up this week.
Do we have to talk about it?
We do have to talk about it. We do have to talk about it. But first, Reese, I'm going to send you off. I think there's some hats up there. You might need to go and have a look. Are they
See.
branded Bills hats?
I believe so.
Go for it. Go for it. Try not to knock the mic as you get off. He's slowly meandering around. He's slowly going, come on, Reese. Get back in here. Get back in here because we need to talk about branded Bills. If you want to stand out from the crowd. You've got a few here. Come on, Reese. You can pop one on. There we go. Okay. There we go. But Reese, show us what you got here.
I got
let's have a look at Reese.
Black ASU one.
There we go. There we go. We got another one here. Right. But they have deals, of course, with not just ASU, but they actually have deals with 40 universities, includes ASU. Another one that Kevin would probably like us to mention, but we'd rather not. Somewhere down south.
NAU.
As part of their campus collections, the NAU, the key thing is the N is north.
South, yeah.
They also partner with the Phoenix Suns. They're a local company from here in Mesa, Arizona, and have all kinds of stuff, not just the college stuff here that we're talking about, but all kinds of stuff to whatever matches your vibe. Head over to brandedbills.com and use the code BBPHNX for 15% off of your first Branded Bills order. You know what would go well with a hat?
What?
Come on, it's sunny out there. It's
Sunglasses.
Bright. He needs some sunglasses.
Absolutely.
If he's getting some sunglasses, where are you going to go for those sunglasses?
Shady Rays.
Shady Rays. Why are you doing that?
Because Max told me to.
Max did tell you to, but you know what? You know what? Max Simpson, he always wears the Shady Rays.
He does,
doesn't he?
He does,
Doesn't
especially
he?
when he goes on vacation.
I mean, Max is very much a shades indoors kind of guy, is he not, Kevin? You can
Oh,
back me up on this one.
1000%, yes.
And when he's wearing shades indoors, what is he wearing?
Shady Rays, and it makes our
course.
uncool friend so cool when he wears Shady Rays.
It's just
I
about
never
the
thought about it
only
like
thing
that.
that can kind of raise up that,
Yeah.
the level of the shades indoors.
when I
It's
see
only
Max
Shady
with
Rays
Shady
that can make
Rays,
that
I'm like,
happen.
oh, what's up, Max? And when I see him without Shady Rays, I'm like,
Hello, Max.
Now, you might not
Oh my
want to be
God.
like Max, but this is one regarding which you should be. Now, we have teamed up with Shady Rays. We can get you an exclusive offer. If you head to shadyrays.com, use the code PHNX, you can get 35% off of their polarized sunglasses, and you too can try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And Max, by the way. Max actually tried giving them 6 stars, but that's because he can't count.
He can't.
That's a separate issue. There we
He's
go.
no
You can have an
numerologist.
extra cap there if you want, Reese, He's a poor student. He needs everything that he can get. Right. You know what's coming up this weekend?
Derby. Don't care what other people
It's
say.
not Derby County, mate. It's New Mexico
you're right.
United.
But it's Derby.
I know. No. So go on. Tell me. How do we feel?
If they have another slow start like they did against Oakland, Loudoun, Sacramento, honestly, name probably the majority of the 26 games this season in the league, it will be a nightmare. It will be a disaster. It will be one of the most ugly things we've seen all season. Now, if they play like they did in the first time they met this season in New Mexico, when it was a 1-0 win for, a 2-1 win for Rising, where Rising went there, played a very, very good game, probably their best game in terms of going out there and executing a game plan over 90 minutes, because you could kind of tell early, hey, they were going to let New Mexico have the bulk of possession, let them do whatever they wanted with the ball, and Rising just had to get a goal, steal a goal somehow, and that's all they had to do. And then Tambakis got sent off. Darius Johnson scored once Chris Shakes came on. I know New Mexico probably had a penalty shout, probably should have been given in that game. But again, Rising went out in that game. JP Skeers was probably man of the match. They defended incredibly well for the better part of 90 minutes. And if they do that, it'll be great. Now, if they do how it went in the Jägermeister Cup in that very same game, we might be copy and pasting this show link into next week's show.
Remind me, what was that score again there?
3-3 went to
3-0.
penalties. I don't
3-0.
remember. I don't remember the penalties, but
It's
Who
3-2 to
cares?
Rising on penalties, but again, it's penalties.
in
That
the
doesn't really
Jägermeister
matter.
Cup
Yeah, I
group
mean,
stage. Who cares?
Rising did actually miss 2. Like, there was a point, and this is the funny part of it.
yeah.
Rising went 2-0 up. You thought, oh, it's great, and then they missed 2 penalties, and you just kind of thought, like, oh, they're gonna somehow choke this.
Yeah.
Where have we seen this story before?
2023 final.
2023
but
final
reversed.
reversed. I mean, it was Rising against Charleston in that game. Look, I just look at this team and think you really need to see a much stronger showing, I think, out of the gates.
Yes.
In this one, there's a part here where I look at this team and just think, at some stage, the rabbit's not going to be pulled out of the hat.
Yeah. Or
You
2
can't-
hats.
Or 2 hats, as Rees might have there. But 2 branded Bills hats as
Yes,
well. We can keep Max happy there since he's not here. But at the end of the day, you're not going to do it every week.
Somehow
the
they
fight-
have.
Somehow they have. The luck will run out. And
Yes.
and there's an element to which it's talent, but there's an element to which there's luck involved here as well. You don't come back from that kind of a deficit that many times in a row without there being a good, nice little element of luck to go with it as well. Simply put, because you're relying on the fact the other team actually gives you some of those opportunities to take. And New Mexico feels like the kind of team whereby that could be one where rising nonetheless. New Mexico, by the way, currently working on their new stadium, by the way. Do you know? Expect to be ready by 2029.
I mean,
we may never have to.
2029. Okay.
2029.
Well, why are we even announcing that this early? Just wait 2 more years to announce it, and then I'll be interested. But 2029, literally anything can happen between now and
It's
then.
Albuquerque. Everything moves slow. They're like getting a roof on the stadium.
Yeah.
Anyone? Not the stadium.
The
sorry, the airport. Gosh, I'm confusing myself with very slow-moving projects here. But Rees, come on, let's talk. What are we thinking about New Mexico overall?
It's not an away game, so you don't have to go on vacation to Albuquerque.
That is true.
They've been weird because they were very, very bad for like 2 months, July and August. They didn't win a game. Now, granted, they played some very good teams on that time: Pittsburgh, Charleston, San Antonio, Hartford, Tulsa, Louisville, and Sacramento, but they just couldn't win. I'm fascinated to see what they'll be in this game because we've seen them be different teams. I feel like every time we've ever seen them come to Phoenix. I'm intrigued by some of the moves they made because they did go out and make moves. Valentin Noel's absolutely the guy I'm looking for there. He's didn't start their last game against Lexington, but the pedigree of player there that we saw last season again, or when he was with Vegas, was a top player in this league. Been a bit of a rocky year for him at the start of the season, especially with Vegas, because it felt like he was being played out of position up there, and then gets to move to New Mexico. And I feel like that is something where he's a guy
that was
that
the
could
earlier
actually
move,
make the
really,
difference.
as well. When you look at some of the others,
Oh yeah, I
they
forgot
brought
some of
in,
their others. Yeah,
Ahmed,
yeah,
Marcos Jr., Kip Keller, right?
Yeah.
They're bringing guys in.
yeah. And who was it? What game was I watching? Oh, Miguel Jr. scored an absolute banger to win them the Colorado Springs game a week or two ago, which 2-1 win. That honestly probably helped Rising quite a lot. New Mexico's doing Rising favors.
I think it's interesting because they're bringing in very much. I mean, again, you look at these acquisitions, right? I mean, between Miguel Jr., between Valentin Noel, they're bringing in guys who are kind of proven USL Championship players in the stretch here. And that's very much not what Rising has done when they've gone for mid-season acquisitions. It's a different kind of philosophy, different kind of aim there in terms of what and who they're going to bring in.
I honestly like it though in terms of in-season acquisitions.
That's I think the thing. The in-season acquisitions, it almost makes sense because when you get those are higher stakes usually acquisitions that either push you over the line or stop you from getting over the line. And you don't really have the same margin of error to just get things wrong.
Yeah.
There is still going to be a margin of error. It's never going to be perfect. Sometimes players just don't fit in the system. Sometimes players just don't fit at a team. Or sometimes a player, despite every single thing telling you they should work out here, don't. Right? It happens. But you want a little bit more, I think, of the safe pair of hands sometimes in a mid-season acquisition, don't you?
I agree. And you know that a guy can deliver in this league because this league isn't easy to adjust to in terms of the travel, some of the cities that you have to go to, with all due respect. It's not like, playing in abroad where you're not going that far in terms of mileage week in and week out, sometimes even midweek. This league isn't easy to adjust to. And then you kind of look at the play where there isn't really one style of play. it is definitely difficult for players to come in from overseas, from abroad, no matter really what the level is. There's going to be a learning curve, but especially for leagues that are at similar levels to USL abroad, when they come over here, it can be difficult because again, there's so many factors in this league.
There are. And what's interesting here is obviously Noel, a guy who played under the head coach over there, Sanchez, when he was at Vegas. What's also interesting here, even when you look at the guys that they brought in, the one who doesn't have USL experience really in Kip Keller, actually played with Noel in Austin too. Did you know?
Were you tuned into those games?
I was not watching MLS Next Pro. Funnily enough,
Fair
not
enough.
a big MLS Next Pro guy. I know you are, Rees. We know you love a good Next Pro game.
Oh, I'm sure I do.
Absolutely do. Anything else we need to add at this point? From Rising's perspective, anyone we think needs to step up in this game?
I don't know if there's a single player that needs to step up because I feel that the 11 or I guess it was technically the 10, but really the 11 that ended the Oakland match. Obviously, Daniel Flores won't be able to play. I'm assuming that red card didn't get rescinded.
I don't believe
Okay.
so. I don't believe there'd be real justification for it.
No,
to be
I
honest.
know. But for the better part, the majority of the 11 that ended that game will be the starting 11 that we'll see, just because of the nature of how that Oakland game went and kind of the turning point of the press conference and all that. And
I need to see Emma's put in the performance
I agree.
he did in the second
I
half
agree.
for the whole game, which we haven't always seen from him over 90 minutes. We haven't seen a lot from him over 90 minutes. I need to see it turn into a 90-minute performance.
I'd agree with that. And I said earlier, but I still do wonder how much of our praise of that Emmer's performance was just down to he replaced a Kaloa who didn't have a good game at all. Excuse me. And was good in that role. Would we be saying it was as good as it is if he came off the bench? Who knows?
It's true. I'm not sure. Right, here we go.
Score prediction?
Rees.
2-2 draw.
Wow, I'm gonna go 3-all draw.
Yeah. I mean,
Kev, what we thinking? Score predictions.
3-2 Rising lose.
wow. You have a winner in this game.
Ooh. And he's not Rising. He's going for New Mexico.
Wow. I think I will tell my grandkids about the last time there was a winner in a Rising game.
God,
Your
New
grandkids
Mexico.
might be alive
No one
to
likes New Mexico. No one likes New Mexico.
No.
Here. This pod is not a New Mexico
Exactly.
fan pod.
I was gonna say, you say that you're gonna tell your grandkids about. the
We'll
time
look
there was a
forward to
result.
seeing you in the playoffs, New Mexico. But
They're gonna be
we're not
alive.
gonna really
They're gonna be
look forward to
alive.
that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
ready for
yeah.
Albuquerque away in the playoffs?
Are you booking your vacation stay in Albuquerque?
Oh man, I'd rather not, but we may be. I don't know. We'll see, won't we?
Scenes. We will be there in Albuquerque.
You're
New
gonna be
Mexico.
there. You're gonna go in Albuquerque. You go to
Hopefully not.
Albuquerque?
Hopefully I don't have to go to Albuquerque. I don't want to go to Albuquerque.
You want to go to Albuquerque, Cam?
I've already been to Albuquerque once.
How do you feel about it?
It's a place that exists in the continental United States.
He's being very diplomatic. Look, here's what I'm gonna say.
I tip
Just
both
remember,
my caps.
Phoenix Rising fans, and we got to get this out of the way before the game happens, so we don't look bitter. But remember, no matter what the result is, life could be worse.
Could
You
live in
could live in Albuquerque, and for that, I think we'll leave the discussion of this upcoming game against
That should count as a
New
goal for Rising. to be
Mexico. Not living in Albuquerque, that's a goal
Yeah,
for Rising.
yeah.
Right, when we come back, we will talk a little bit. There's some other news going on with the Players Association and the ongoing collective bargaining agreement discussions. But first, we need to talk to you about our friends at Rally House, because why do we need to talk about that?
They have Rising merchandise.
They do actually have Rising merch online. We have found that. That one surprised. Didn't that surprise you?
It did, but it's
It
a
did,
plus.
because people don't carry that stuff,
No.
but these guys do. These guys do. They are the go-to spot to shop for all your favorite local Arizona team gear, with tens of thousands of products to shop from. They've also got locations in Tempe, Mesa, and Glendale, so it's not just online. Whatever you want hats, you want jerseys, you want drinkware. Apparently they got sunscreen, I hear.
Interesting.
You might need
Team
that. It is
branded
Arizona.
sunscreen?
It's Arizona. You do need that stuff, to be fair. Every time you visit a rally house, you're going to find something that's new, unique, and matches your game day vibe. You can find your local rally house location and shop their entire product assortment online at www.rallyhouse.com today. And Rees, here's the thing. I stopped off to get some gas on the way in today, and it reminded me they do have a meal deal on right now.
Where?
I know it's Circle K, and you know what that means, Rees, because you know the meal deal. We've spoken about it on this pod.
Does this come with a drink?
It does come with a Polar Pop up to 44 ounces. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
comes with a side of select Frito-Lay chips, and it comes, of course. What is the main you want in this?
The taquito roll things they got.
It's you get a tornado or you can get a hot dog, and I know you're getting that.
That
hot dog,
tornado.
Reese.
I don't know what that is.
You're a
but
big
it
hot
sounds
dog
good.
guy, Reese. You're a big hot dog guy. You get all kinds of deals at Circle K, especially if you sign up for the Inner Circle program. You get a 79-cent Polar Pop, 99-cent Froster, 3 for $5 Gatorade, 28 ounces. And of course, you save on gas, which is always welcome. You can join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. Right, collective bargaining agreement. I know you're a big labor relations guy, aren't you, Vince? He's putting his labor relations hat on right now, which wouldn't be an AS. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm not gonna read the contract.
Don't know where that was
CBA.
going.
Yeah, that was something. But
I mean, there's probably people who are good at that over there. But Reese, come on, let's talk.
fascinating, isn't it? The USLPA saying to block the league.
The collective they're saying in their bargaining sessions, effectively, their new strategy is go out and block the league on social media. Look, I know that in comments made in the press conference today, JP Skiers kind of said that, you know, things weren't necessarily going as what the players wanted. That's kind of been the indication from the Players Association the whole time. They've really been ramping up the rhetoric, haven't they?
They have been.
Over the last month or so, ever since Labor Day, pretty much.
When does it expire this
It's the end of
year?
the year.
Okay.
It is the end of this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean...
Got to get a move on.
They really, really do. It's set to expire. Here's a statement from them saying that the current agreement is set to expire. The lack of progress at the bargaining table is disappointing and frustrating. Players are frustrated because professional soccer cannot succeed without professional standards. Safe working conditions, fair pay, and employer-provided healthcare are not optional. They are fundamental to player welfare, the credibility of the league, and increased fan interest and engagement. And that was the statement they put out when they were telling people to go block the league on social media, liked by several Phoenix Rising players. In this one, I mean, Reese, thoughts? Are we going to see a season next year? Everyone wants it to be. That's the key thing.
Yeah.
From the kind of the discussions we had, no one is sitting here going like, "Oh yeah, we'll let's play that." You know,
I think it would be the most USL thing possible to be, you know, hyping up how the World Cup in 2026 is going to boost this league into the, you know, a different atmosphere, and then for there just to not be a season that year. But I mean, obviously, again, everyone wants there to be one. I'm a big fan of nothing ever happens, so I feel like this will end up getting sorted out. But again, with the way it is right now, it is difficult to envision that happening. I don't know. It's such an interesting thing because I feel like the CBA is, you know, the only thing I ever look at it for is the 25-day contract rule. But then again, like, it actually affects the players' lives on a day-to-day basis, which is kind of mental to think about.
It does.
You know?
It does. That's how collective
Something as
bargaining
crazy
agreements
as
tend to work,
that.
mate.
But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, Owen?
We do have to do what we got to do. I don't even know what I'm saying there. Reese, is there anything more USL than this right now?
There isn't.
We spent an entire show talking about how...
Actually, there is one thing more USL.
What's that?
The USL just announced that they're interested in placing an expansion team in Reno. That's the most USL thing ever.
You know what's funny is the fact that they're doing all of that without even mentioning that that ultimately, you know, that Reno had a team before.
Well,
every bit of press release is just like, you know, we want to bring football to Reno. And it's like, hang on a minute, you had it here. You had a team in this league.
I mean, they're doing it without an ownership group without anything. And it's just like, oh yeah, we'll put a team in that city. They've done this so many times over the recent years. It's like, oh yeah, I believe that's going to happen. New Orleans to USL. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of teams like that. Interesting comment there in the chat about new US visa rules mean players must now interview in their home country, not third countries, slowing transfers and adding costs. US-based or dual national players now easiest to sign. Yeah, it's true. I'd also imagine probably means that players from certain countries are probably easier to get into the country as well. Namely, if you're looking at players who are, say, for example, European nationals playing in Europe may have an easier time than, say, someone who'd have to get it through an embassy in other parts of the world where I could see perhaps a more stringent approach towards visa processing, not least because in quite a lot of those countries, they have to also process visas just for people to even visit the US, let alone move to the US. So that'll probably, I'm sure, slow things down in some of those countries anyway. But yes, always interesting. Visa processing has been a thorn in Rising's side for quite some time, not just this year, but in the past. Obviously, we all know that there were some things that went wrong with certain processes this year. Some players were late getting in last year. So it's an interesting quirk that I think will impact things, especially given Rising's model, which often focuses on bringing in players from slightly further away. That's an interesting one. You know what? That's a really interesting one to end on. Now that makes us sound intelligent and intellectual and thinking about things.
Yeah.
Relative to the nonsense that we were talking about earlier.
How about darts, huh?
How about darts? Well, we're not going to talk about darts. We will give a quick shout out, by the way, to PHNX Cardinals crew who have pre-game tailgate coming up at Chicken and Pickle in Glendale before the Cardinals take on the Packers. That one's coming October 19th. They'll be at Chicken and Pickle from 11 a.m. There will be PHNX merch giveaways, yard games, drink specials, and more. You can go to gophnx.com/events to RSVP for this free event up at Chicken and Pickle in Glendale. Right, we'll be back this time next week, Wednesday at 6.
Will
Max may be here? I don't know. That's the question, isn't it?
It's not a question. It's unfortunately a statement. He will not be here.
There we go. There we go. Right, well, I'm Owen, James18 on Twitter. We got Rees, who is
at Rees11_.
And behind the Mac, we have Kevin. Kevin, how are the people going to find you?
At Kevo Post on Twitter and at Kevo TikToks on TikTok.
There we go. He's even plugging the TikTok.
I do follow him
there. You got a TikTok there?
No.
You don't post anything on TikTok?
Nope.
See, Rees, you're our resident young person here, you know?
That is true. I mean, I'm on a podcast with two geriatric people, so...
Wow.
Mainly Max. He counts us two geriatric.
That is quite true. You did
those shoulders?
Yeah, I mean, those dodgy shoulders. Very questionable shoulders. Right, again, we will be here next week at 6. Phoenix Rising will be playing New Mexico this weekend. You ready? Come on, you ready?
As long as it's not another draw.
He's not ready. Listen to the pain in this man's voice. If he has to watch another draw, I'm worried for poor old Reese boy. He's struggling. He is going through it right now, watching these draws. Oh, Reese, it's gonna be okay. It's going to be okay. Right. Well, I think that's about it for us. We're kind of dragging this out because this last couple of minutes has taken way longer than I thought it would.
Well, you just got to count the seconds down.
We do. I think technically we owe him another minute, maybe.
What are we, 6-7 seconds away from being done?
6-7. 6-7.
No. See, we've gone back to this kind of just what are we talking about anymore?
Yeah.
Darts. Give me the quick 30-second on darts.
World Grand Prix. Is it this weekend or next weekend? I can't remember. Double in, double out. It's always fun. See which
big darts guy, aren't you,
idiot player forgets to double in. Ricardo Pacheco did it last year, which I was quite happy to see. Ricardo Pacheco.
You're not a big Ricardo Pacheco guy, are you?
Oh, no.
No, apparently no. He's not a big...
creepy.
6th to the 12th of October.
Okay.
Okay, it's a long one. One. We actually got Players Championship 30 tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, scenes. Where is it?
It's in Leicester.
Ooh,
all right, now that's about dragging us down to a point where we can finally call it. So I think now we've discussed Leicester and the Players Championship.
Yeah,
PDC Players, the PDPA Players Championship actually in darts. On that note, it's a beautiful game, but it's way more beautiful when
Max doesn't show up again.
there we go.
We all silly like the mayor.